Hello, everybody, and welcome in. We are officially in season 12. Let me know if you can hear me. Hello, hello, hello. Once we get people in here, I'll go through disclaimers and then we will get started. Just waiting for people to get in here. I don't want to start if you guys cannot hear me. Hello, 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 season 12. All right, let me know if you can hear me. As long as you can hear me, I'll get started. Need one person to chat that they can hear me. Come on, boys. There we go. All right, awesome. And we have so many new users. I'm gonna have to get used to your new names here. But yeah, season 12 of the SFA. As you can see, we have completely updated all of the logos. The top left was made by Pinstripe. It will be on all of our streams for this season. Our tag or our watermark, I guess you could say. So shout out to Pinstripe for creating that. Yeah, follow the channel. If you don't know what this is the SFA, an online dynasty ran entirely through Discord. You don't need the game. You can recruit. You can set depth charts, playbooks, all that good stuff, and then you can participate in things like fantasy football or betting on games. We have a brand new little prediction score sports book going on in the server now. So if you want to join, you can. Also on Twitch, all of our streams, we are affiliated. So if you want to use a Twitch Prime, that would be great to avoid your ads. Any and all Twitch revenue goes to a national championship trophy that you guys will get if you win the national championship. Also, with the addition of Patreon, I have a little bit more funds, so then I'll be able to also include like something like a hat from your school or like a shirt or something. So that is the plan. So somebody please win a national championship so I can send it to you. Also, brand new to season 12 is Patreon. If you're interested in supporting the server in any way, you can check it out. You get a lot of benefits. None of them are pay to win. I'm also, after the stream tonight, we're gonna add another benefit to all 3 tiers. So watch out for that. I have a few disclaimers to run through. Please listen to all the disclaimers at the beginning of the video before jumping to the timestamps in the description. First off, I don't expect you guys to watch the whole stream. I have to go through all 126 teams, every player, so the VOD will be on YouTube tonight, and then you can just jump to your team. Also, there is new playbook rules for this season, so you guys can submit whatever playbook you want to start the year. But once week 1 starts, you can only edit it 4 times, so that whether you change the tendencies, completely change the playbook or whatnot, that way we don't completely restrict you in case of like an injury or something, but then again also not making it super unrealistic where you can run triple option 1 week, air raid the next, right? That's just not realistic in today's world. Finally, I accept roster requests between now and when week 1 starts. Requests can be red shirts, position changes, depth chart changes, kind of anything you want as far as depth chart or position or that sort of stuff. If you want to change numbers, that's a Patreon deal. If you want to change appearances, that's Patreon. And a couple things with your submissions, please watch the roster video, send all of your changes in one message. That way I can do them all at one time, because I have to delete and remake coaches every time I edit something. So if you send me 5 1 hour, 5 the next hour, and then 10 2 days from now, it's going to piss me off because I'm going to have to remake your coach about 10 times. So when you DM me your roster changes, please do it all at once. Finally, please, when you do these requests, the game is really good at doing kind of what it's supposed to. So like, you don't need to tell me to redshirt your freshman 5th string D tackle. They're going to do that. please don't tell me to switch positions from right end to left end, because the game does that. It doesn't matter. Same thing goes with the offensive line. The only thing I really need changes for is if you're going to be redshirting somebody who's like a high overall projected to start, if you're switching positions for guys who are projected to start at one position if you want them to start somewhere else, that kind of stuff. Don't send me 30 red shirts that you're expecting when the game's already going to do it itself. Same thing with out of position stuff. The game's really good about doing the base stuff. I'm just looking for requests for, kind of putting your own spin on things. And yeah, so I think that's all my disclaimers, at least to start. We're going to start with Arizona. They're number 1 on the list. So, so I'm going to go through every single player in the save. I'm going to show off some of the new players, the freshmen, and we're just going to have a good time. This stream normally takes 2.5 hours to 3 hours. I also am going to pause at the beginning of each team so I can write down the timestamps. That way, 2 months from now, when you're trying to find something on your roster, you can just easily come back to it. But at the top, for Patreon users, their current number is underneath the position. So wide receiver Mike Wishbone is number 83. Sophomore, obviously, his height and his weight. The top right, you can kind of see an archetype. For SFA imported players, that's never correct. But for your CPU players, it will be. And then, obviously, their hometown. Another disclaimer here is imported freshmen. If they may not display the correct overall. It may be 1 or 2 off. We've been through this ad nauseum. I've tested it. It does not change the ratings. It's just a visual glitch. So, like, someone might appear 1 overall better than they really are, but it's not actually affecting their ratings. So, yeah. All right, let's get started. I'm going to write down the first one here is Dogwater. He is the lucky guy who gets to go first. All right. So disclaimers are over. Here we go. So Josh Gamara, the Josh Allen counterpart. You got Mario Jones and Vince Stallings. At running back, Matt Bowers, Carlos Huffman, Jamil Davis, Andre Jackson, Jamal Hudson. You got some fullbacks here. Mike Wishbone coming back. Reggie Palmer, Aaron Pugh, Aaron Cutler, Bruce Pleasant. And as I'm going through this I'm going through the edit roster screen. So it's not your depth chart. It's showing it's showing just positions. So first up, we got Luigi Greenberg. He is the first freshman of the season, the tight end from Ontario, Canada. Obviously, it shows Regina. Not all of them are going to be correct, but there you have it. He is your first freshman. And then the first transfer portal player, Chuck Valverde, coming over from Cincinnati. A little weak there at the right tackle. As we head to the defensive end, he lost Otto Tidwell. And then here is Poe Castle. He is normally the starter. He's up to a 77. And then at corner, here is Perry Williams, the freshman from South Dakota. He will be corner number 2. Taylor McQueen, obviously. And then Sid Nash is the other guy. We got Seabass coming back, one of the worst and best kickers in the country. All right, so there is Arizona's full roster. And now we go on to the next one, which is Coach Rick. So I'm going to be taking a second here to do my timestamps. All right. So Cody Green coming over in the transfer portal, up to an 89 overall from Ames, Iowa. Not really anything past him, though, so Arizona State's in the market for a quarterback this year. He also has Aaron Ford coming over from Georgia, the 96 overall, second best player in the portal. We also got Ricky So. He is a SFA player. Fullbacks. And then one of my favorite players from the class, Rafa Hooker, the number 5 overall prospect. He is number 2 behind Mike Seymour, who is the guy who played quarterback for them a little bit this year. We got Taco Fall, the junior 7-footer. So Rick decided to come back. You got Daryl Stiegel there, the SFA player. Remember, pause the video or go in slower speed if you want to see everything. I'm going to I got 126 teams to do, so I'll pause for SFA players where you got Armani Sanders here. He's now the number 1 guy. And a key thing to watch out for is to see if these cornerback groups have gotten a little bit better this year. Roberto Aguayo, the senior kicker, and then Thomas Watkins. All right, now here comes Buffalo. They made the playoff last year. Coach Pinstripe, led by Arch Manning, the 95 overall senior. Sean Hill is behind him, so that looks like a pretty capable quarterback. So it's not the worst thing in the world if he doesn't get somebody, but Paulo Ames all alone in this backfield. And then at wide receiver, you got Ty Schultz. Antoine Randall is back. Calvin Tyrell. These guys are getting old now, Pinstripe. You're going to have to start recruiting new guys. Graham Roth, he transferred over from Ohio State. BJ Stabler, the only center in SFA history with a touchdown. Sergio Lakiki came over in the transfer portal from Minnesota. Cam Pringle, freshman All-American. And on the other side, Michael Morris is now a senior, 88 overall. Matt Allen. John Elevate up to an 88 in the middle there. Looks like Pinstripe's probably going to start needing to run a 3-4 as you got Ray McNeil coming back. Thrash Daniels and Andy Clapp here are the 2 top middle linebackers from the class. Both went to Buffalo. And then we are almost ready. The world review of Bill Zutz, the number 1 player from Bear Cave, 87 overall. It shows 88. This is the visual glitch I was telling you about. But we're showing off Billy Zutz here. He has that knee brace because Dogwater tore his knee IRL, jumping out a window. So there is your boy, Billy Zutz. And then he also has another freshman here. We got Armani Campbell. So Pinstripe kind of saved his cornerback class here this season. He had some terrible guys here. All 4 of his top 5 are all freshmen. So definitely could be struggling there. But he has 2 vets in the back end. You got Eddie Piper along with Barney Fish, who is a senior. Dang, time really does fly. Brad Means, and then Blake Foster. So there is Buffalo. Now here we go. We've got ECU. My team, for you new coaches that do not know. We are led by Christian Richard, the freshman redshirt. He got some great progression. Really excited to see how he does. Tonio Kirk right behind him. Kyle Gary. Vanilla Vic, an odds-on Heisman favorite this year. And then this is where it kind of falls off, honestly. Very deep here. Here is Alex Kilpatrick, the guy I stole from Tennessee. And then here is my freshman, Ryan Dubose, SFA player. But super deep. Unfortunately, though, it's my biggest weakness on this team. Dusty Dukes is going to be starting now at tight end for me. And then I do have the best line in the group of 5. Arnie Ronaldo, SFA player. We got Jackie Claude, SFA player. We've got Gene Dallas, SFA player. And we've got Xavier Johnson, tampered from Ole Miss, but he is an SFA player. Daniel Williams is not. And then Caden Sanker, my freshman here. And then on the defensive end, J.J. Watt. Don't pay attention to the 99 overall. I guarantee you he'll be injured by week 2, and he'll be out for the year. So don't mind that one. Blake Womack, my freshman from Colorado. He will start. Leslie Stirrups and Theodore Chond, the freshman, are going to be bolstering my line. Dexter Glasscock, the freshman All-American. And then in middle linebacker, the transfer Roman Mills will start there. Jordy Drake right behind him. I think I'll probably put Jordy Drake at right outside linebacker. I don't know yet. Cornerback, though, here he is. The first time we're seeing Darrent Williams. I'm going to change his number because that is just disgusting. I did not know he was 45. But that is his first showcase. He'll be 27. Mickey Flames coming back. He was a Bear Cave reward from last year. Charlie McCoy. Then we got J.R. Swain, who I use my developer on. This is probably the best cornerback class in the country. Well, Vinny Queen might be the best player, or the best individual offensive lineman, but he's definitely not on the best line. Sua Cravens for another year. I got Clint Kubiak coming back. He almost won me that Baylor game until this fucker ruined my life. Josh Anderson, he is back, so we'll see how he ruins my season this year. And then Martin Robinson. Georgia Southern. All right, next up is Coco. All right, so Josh Johnson coming back, junior redshirt. Running back, his new freshman, Trey Inners. On offense, J.J. Young coming back. Lots of freshmen here down low. Dan McBride. Adam Manning, the transfer. Remember, your transfers do not have transfer red shirts. They've all been taking off, so they will all be playing this year. Kyle Brookins, one of the best players on this team. Guy to watch for Team of the Year. Robbie Tyson, the smallest, definitely the smallest player model we've ever seen at D-tackle. You got Brian Williams, and then this is the bust from this prior class, the 70 overall, Albert Ascheri. This is what he's looking like. He doesn't look like a bust on this team, but, you know. So we'll see what he can do. Jonathan Harris. Tyson Coffey is another recruit. He is his starter middle linebacker. This is such a clutch recruit for Coco, avoiding a 63 starter. Ellen Holmes, Anthony Young. And that's kind of what the SFA is all about, is recruiting to avoid these massive weaknesses. Pablo Smalls, SFA player as well, number 1. Or I think that's his top recruit. And then Malcolm Cope, here he is, the transfer from Tennessee, one of the biggest steals. He is actually taking Sammy Watkins' number. I didn't even see that, so that's an interesting move. So Sammy Watkins leaves, and then Co Simpson is now the sole starter here. So his back end is actually insanely good over at Southern. All right, there's Georgia Southern for the year. Georgia Tech now. Can Coach Mike, he is the coach who is potentially on the bubble of getting fired. He has no more punishments left. Marco Schroeder taking back the helm. Joe Webb got a little bit of development. Omar Poland. You got Kenneth Williams now. You got Nick Greenwood. Dante Lesser is back. And then Todd Ward still at fullback. And then here he is, Juice Riggs, the SFA player. He had the chance of being a quarterback or a wide receiver in Georgia Tech, and Coach Mike chose to kind of have a Hines Ward-like player. So he has really good run blocking, a really good kind of like a possession receiver. So that is who you are looking at here. He has bad speed, but he is very good at run blocking. So these are the ratings, obviously. DJ St. Julian is back. He's going to be the #1 deep threat for this team. Tight end, Brett Lowry. And then Gino Andolini, the in-game SFA player committed to Georgia Tech, moved him to tackle for him. Fred Burtz is back. Fox Crater. Brady Couch, his only recruit from last season that wasn't a reward player. That one pains Dogwater. He almost got him. And then on the back end here, you got Tyrone McCoy. And then Chandler Jones, another Bear Cave reward from a few years ago. And then who is going to replace our boy Dictator on this team? Preston Myers is looking to step up, but this is definitely a huge hole that he has to find a fix for. Left outside linebacker is a little weak, but his middle linebacker is not. Kevin McIntyre is a beast, one of the best middle linebackers in the country. Reggie Givens, SFA player. And then Nickel Boone, SFA player. And then Alfonso Sampson, one of the best progressions of the offseason. So now he has a really capable class here out wide, which is going to be critical in the ACC. And then in the back, Dante Bruton up to an 88. Sam White, Chris Carter, Chris Landry, Chris James, Brian Hester. So there is Georgia Tech. Iowa State now. The teams aren't going in order because at the top here, these are the teams that are considered user teams currently. These switch pretty frequently as I have to make edits. So, but Kiko Strong, our Heisman winner from last year, he decided to come back. He already holds virtually every passing record in the SFA. So we'll see what he can do if he can lead Iowa State back to the playoff. We also got a new look here for running backs. No more Juwan Harvey. He graduated. So Kennard Sellers, could he be the man? Lots of freshmen out here. And then wide receiver Kyle Houseway is now the top target. So they definitely regressed in this area. But Ross Turner is back. He was crucial in some of those game day games. Tight end, it's all Jeff Pimpton now. No more Stephen Moore. And then on the offensive line, Travis Avery, a freshman. No, Louisville has not been done yet. Remember, if you do miss your team, it's all right. A full VOD will be posted, and you can, and we'll have timestamps, so it's super easy to find. Jabari Stratford, SFA player. The real question is, can this defense repeat what they did a year ago? Barry Bumpus now in the middle. Joel Ward, 78. Scooter Burdette, he decided to put him at linebacker, his freshman. He could be a running back as well. Another year, Philip Willis, along with Lou Underwood, has yet to really play as an SFA player. Stevie Scumbag, a IRL Bear Cave reward. Corner, Chaz Weber is now the top target. And Emmett McKinney, the lowest ever input recruit from Season 7. I believe he's like a 57 overall. He somehow has managed to climb up, and he is an 85 and a starter his senior year. And Quentin Appleby, the freshman, is number 4 in the depth chart. So this is a great cornerback class out here in Ames. Free safety, they got one more year of Harrison Smith. He also has Zadie Likes, an SFA player who's coming in. Jermaine Bryant on the other side, so Likes will probably slide over to strong safety, or one of the two. All right, and there is Iowa State. Now we've got Kansas. This might be the most hype of any Fink team ever, as Kyle White is a 96 overall headed into the season. Can he somehow find a way to be good? Donatello Perkins now is an SFA player. He is a receiving back, so we're not going to be sure how he does as a starter, but it's a lot better than what he had last year in the backfield. At wide receiver, these overalls are a little bit lower, but the number one wide receiver is J.J. Justice. He's just listed at cornerback because he plays two ways. But Terry Butler, an SFA player, maybe in the slot. We'll see where he winds up. Tight end, Jeff Carter. Donnie Stone, the SFA player, is over at left tackle. One of Fink's best classes he's ever recruited coming in this year. Here is the defensive line now. We get so we get another year here of Tez White, and we now have Brian Kearney, who is a senior, had some good progression. And then in the middle, another year of David McCormick. J.J. Justice here, and then the SFA player, the freshman Charisma Mukaida, cornerback. I'm really hyped for him. He's one of my favorite prospects coming out. Patrick Chung coming back. He's a junior, 90 overall. All right, there's the Fink class for you. Now we head to Michigan State. Coach McNasty, they made the Natty a season 10. Didn't do so well last year. Henry Green here is the better player, but Jerry Schmierman was promised the start. This is what he looks like. So we'll see what Coach McNasty does with that situation. At running back, he's not listed here. We'll go over their starter in a second, but Josh Whitehead and Medley have been pretty good compliments to McBurnfinger throughout his career. Wide receiver, Calvin Johnson, the transfer from Minnesota, up to a 93. Bradford Blazer up to a 90. Ben Williams, Brandon Roberson, Aaron Gibson. Chuck Lamas, freshman, top 10 recruit. Really good offensive line. They have a really good chance to find their winning ways again. As you got Dwayne Johnson, the edge rusher, had a bad year. Really, this whole team had a down year last year. Here is an incoming in-game recruit, Willis Whopper. Here is a first look at him. This man's a beast. So we'll see if he gets the start. At D-tackle, you got Thomas Williams. Anthony Broussard, and the man, the myth, the legend, a Heisman winner, Binks McBurnfinger, back at middle linebacker. He is the obvious starter. He does also start at running back, so watch out for this beast. Cornerback looking a little bit weaker than normal, but that's all right. And then in the back here, you got Roscoe Cherry, the freshman All-American, up to an 86. He's come a long way from tipping balls to Chad Blunt, week 1 of last year. All right, now we're on to Southern Miss. Remember, I'm writing down timestamps for everything. But number 1 player on this team, D. Dowis, the junior, up to 97 speed. He does not have a plan behind him, though, so that could be a bit scary. 3 freshmen to kind of test out. At running back, DJ Hall up to an 80. Ray Rice up to a 79. Tybo Rogers missed pretty much his whole freshman year. He's a 77. Then you got Peyton Hillis here. Wide receivers, these don't really matter in his offense. David Blankenship. Then the offensive line. Here is the debut of Bobby Joe Toot, the freshman. This is what he's looking like. Recruit from Michigan. Coach B-Dog is our first coach to ever get a battleground in recruiting, so we'll see this year how that goes. Alfie Hayford up to an 82. Quay Camaro, this is who he spent most of his budget on, so we'll hopefully he delivers for him. Quay Camaro. And when I imported all your players, remember I copy over the lowest rated position of the highest need, basically. So DeAndre Moose here, he progressed a little bit. Larry Toro, the SFA player as well, starting at right outside linebacker for you. Eric Coleman. Tough luck here at cornerback. Mari Snowden, those up to an 83. He is the sole starter now. Curtis Blaylock, the other starter. So actually some very good improvement here from Southern Miss. Would not shock me at all if he winds up winning this division. And there is Southern Miss. Tennessee here. Coach Nick, #1 seed last year, now led by Bishop Moore. He does have 3 SFA quarterbacks. One of them will be hitting the portal this season. Do not let you guys stack 3 SFA quarterbacks. I do allow 2, but not 3. So we'll see who he decides to force enter the portal. At running back, not much going on here, so potentially some issues going on down in Tennessee. Chris Beach, though, up #1 guy, up to an 87. You got Mario Reed, Edmund Edwards, the freshman, Tyrone Diggs, Dario Scoggins, the SFA player. And then here is tight end here. You got Michael Samuel as well as Snow Graves, the SFA player. Left tackle, you got Michael Orr. You got Mark Schlereth finally starting for him here, so finally some SFA players making an impact. And then on the other side, the #2 recruit in the class is Jamarian Sippins. He is the #2 option here at D-tackle. He'll probably catch a red shirt here. And then Lionel Covington at left outside linebacker. Middle linebacker Dovinsky. Then you got Bruno Van Peter, the freshman. Then Pino Armstrong is back, even though he did regress a little bit. Outside now, you have SFA player Sam Powell in the slot. This is another really deep corner class. Remember, globally, corner is probably the weakest position in the SFA currently. All right, there you go. There's Tennessee. And then finally, Wyoming is our last user currently. So Coach Wind getting lucky here today. As Andre Warfield is an 88 this year. Let's hope he can have a little bit better year. Wind is one of our Patreon users, so he can edit numbers and equipment. Perry Potts coming back, the #1 option. Freshman All-American. And then here's the debut of Malik Afruz. This is what he looks like up front. He will be playing both ways for Wyoming. He'll be playing wide receiver and corner. Tight end here. So Wyoming looking to win this division. He probably has a little bit of a chance. He does have the weapons. It's just, are these weaknesses going to be too rough? Obviously, the loss of Alton Jackson, the 7-footer and 90-plus overall, is going to really hurt him this year. But he did get a little bit of help here in the portal. So Kyle Johnson is one of those guys he got in the portal. No, we haven't gotten to Utah yet. Don't worry. Keaton Williams, he did get in the portal. He will start at linebacker. Same thing with Ryan Bates. He got in the portal. So some huge dubs for Coach Wind, kind of saving that terrible Alton Jackson bailing on the team at cornerback. So remember, Malika Fruz will be here starting somewhere up towards the top there. Jeff Stuckey, but definitely is a little bit rough here on the back end. Good kicker, though. All right. So there you go. So now we're on to CPU teams. The CPU teams, I do scroll through all of them, check out any SFA players, but I go a lot faster. So every team you just saw was a user, though, so that's why I was going pretty slow. But now this is where we're going to start to pick it up. Air Force, this is a team that's really rough. They do have 2 SFA players, though, that we're going to take a look at. And that is their wide receivers. You've got Darius Hayward-Bay, and you've got Brock Baxter. This team is available for pickup. They really just need a quarterback, honestly. They have a decent line. Remember, if you want to take a look at everything in depth, watch the video in like half the speed. All right, and now here comes Akron. Team that everyone was afraid of in the portal, but they didn't wind up getting any of them. That's something you can DM me for, Dogwater. If you want to know something about, a star player or something, you can DM me any requests to see from your roster. I always get back to you within 24 hours. Now, over the next couple of days, though, it's going to be a lot longer because I'm going to have 73 users bombarding me with random requests. So just bear with me. I will get all of them sent before the season starts. There is Akron. Now, oh boy, here is a biggie. For those of you who make predictions, this is where you're going to want to start watching. Alabama, are they going to be back? They have a member of the Irons clan finally starting, E.J. Irons. This is his stat breakdown. He is a monster. We now have 2 Irons clans players starting. Leonardo Ferguson is an SFA player. He is their #1 guy. Yeah, watch out. It's going to be E.J. Irons versus C.J. Irons for the Bob Pork here is another SFA player. Doc Buckley is an SFA player. There's a reason this team is still locked, despite not having the greatest season last year. Perry Sly is an SFA player. Definitely somebody who could find their way into the portal. Jimmy Don Willie is an SFA player. He will get the start, actually, as a freshman. That's actually pretty hype. Another really good corner class. Appalachian State here. This one is a doozy. First time ever we've had a generational talent enter the SFA. A 93 overall as a freshman. Flynn Saunders, he may look a little whack, but he is a monster. A lot of users are facing App State this year, so don't overlook him. This is his stat breakdown to start. An 84 speed, really good throw power, really good accuracy, really good awareness. He starts out as a complete animal. Coach Dirty also has Akron Barron, SFA player. Lots of wide receivers, so Dirty's definitely going to need to get him some help if Flynn wants to have any success and not be a massive bust. And then corner, the team of the year, #1 corner from last year, Rashad Banks as a senior, is still over here. And that's the App State roster. Arkansas now, Coach Bohr. Brad Thornton is back. He won a lot of those HRS awards. No more AJ Green in the backfield. It's one of our more inactive users. He rarely recruits or anything, so this team is probably going to fall off soon. Kevin Irons, that is not an official Irons Clan member. Oh boy. Zach already calling his shot against Arkansas. Alright, now Arkansas State, who actually lost their coach. Coach Sear Laxbro bailed to North Carolina, leaving it Chet Doge. Chet Doge, it was refusing to leave his quarterback in his offense. But here is Chet Doge now, the senior. Broke virtually every receiving record last year. Got the SFA Player of the Year last year. He is a beast, a menace, the former Baylor Bear. Once again, coming back to wreak havoc on the Sun Belt teams. Holy right end. So this is a case like where the game will put the right ends at the left end position. You don't need to tell me, right? Army now, probably my biggest threat this year in the AAC. Julian Kemp went crazy this year. Quentin Perry, and then Ruddy Rogers. Here is the freshman, the 5'6" guy. Here's what he looks like. I'm super excited for Ruddy Rogers. He looks like a monster. He also has the top SFA tight end currently in terms of overall, Major Cash, SFA player. Buzz Modella here is the other, our third and final Bear Cave recruit. This is what he's looking like this year, Buzz Modella. And Orlando Moss, the former ECU player who he tampered away, starting at right tackle. Mort Knudsen is his other freshman. This team could actually be pretty good. I'm actually a little bit scared because you got Kenzo Carter, in-game recruit, SFA player. Yeah, look at this monster. I am so scared of Kenzo Carter. 6'5" freshman cornerback. What am I supposed to do with that? I don't have Heimlich anymore. This guy's going to kill me. Kenzo Carter is going to be a disgusting player. Sorry, Chelsea. We'll get to you soon. All right, Auburn, you are up. All right, so I'm just going to flash it real quick for you. There you go. There's the stats. But Antonio Williams, he is a senior. And remember, we are past the year where we see everything. Or all the IRL players are out of the rosters. These are all generated or made by me. So no IRL players left on these rosters. This is what Auburn is working with. Really good. This is one of those teams that has great overall, but just no production, no wins. So it's one of those really hard situations to go in if you're a new coach. It's so much easier to have immediate impact on a low team. A team like this is going to take Kenzie probably 2 or 3 years to really improve even a little bit. So we'll see how he does. Don't worry, it's going to be in a VOD, Kenzie. If you froze, just reload. I haven't dropped a single frame yet. Really deep corner class, though, so that gives you hope. That's kind of how I judge the chances of a team really making a run. If you have a really good secondary, at least that's what we saw last season. But remember, every year it seems like there's a completely different meta. So, no, FSU has not come up yet. All right, BYU is a new user. There are a few SFA players on this team. They don't have a quarterback, but you got Tyler Bausick, SFA player. This team really needs a quarterback. Dalton Cobbleberry, SFA player as well, in his senior year. Don't worry, I know who all the users and stuff are. You don't got to worry about that. Mo Latu, SFA player. The amount of SFA information I have in my brain is disturbing. Adam King, Jake Potts. And you have 2 SFA players here. You got the new freshman, Raheem Azuna, recruited by the coach from last year, and then he dipped. I don't know what happened to him. But then you also have Enzo Woods, who may be hitting the portal this year. He's an SFA player, not starting, not projected to start, so that is something I will be looking at. Todd Cox is your junior. And we move on. Ball State, all right. So Ball State almost made a run at the MAC division last year, and oh boy, missing a quarterback here. So Miami Dolphins is going to need to step up and get a quarterback. As always, this is the biggest grind of a video I do every single season. And if you do want to make full player edits in terms of numbers and appearances, not any ratings or body type changes, but you can join Patreon. Patreon has started off insanely strong. So all the support people are showing is actually insane. And Aqib Talib, the SFA player, is now the top man finally somewhere. He's transferred multiple times. He started out at ASU, went to MSU, and then went to Ball State. Yeah, for you new guys, it's going to be all about kind of getting that initial monster quarterback or impact player to help you out. All right, so now we got Baylor, who has made a record 6 CFPs, also a record 6 CFPs in a row. Former user and coach Flame, he left for Illinois, and they still made it to the Natty last year. They bring back Colt Brennan, the junior. This team is disgusting. If you don't project them to once again make the playoff, you are stupid, as they have Braylon Burnside again. Scott McMillan, this is the worst part of their team is their wide receiver core. So if there's one weakness, it's there. They definitely improved their tight ends, though. And then their offensive line has been decreasing a little bit. This is what we see. If a user leaves a team, they slowly but surely fall down. But Shad Boyko, arguably the best pass rusher in SFA history. Ball State is semi-active, doesn't really recruit. I don't know. He's kind of one of those who's in and out, so we'll see what he does this year. I'm really hoping he gets more active. I know he enjoys it. I just don't know why he doesn't stay more active in terms of recruiting and stuff. SFA player Rocky Kalmus, one of the best linebackers in the country. And then you got Jamal Okiki, the 7th, his senior year. The Nigerian night animal, one of the craziest players in the SFA. He has 99 speed, 99 hit power. Watch out for Jamal Okiki. Fire who? All right, Boise State now. Remember, I'm writing down timestamps. And this is his problem. He had some great regression, great job in the portal, but then Zach Maynard went down 4. Like, what are you doing, my guy? I know you had a bad year, but come on. He was supposed to be really good. You got the freshman Rex Osland, may or may not play this season. He might actually deserve a red shirt. Hyped to see him. He could be playing both ways. Oh, yeah, no, that's all right. Catch the VOD. It will have super easy timestamps. Vaughn Haley coming back, SFA tight end, and then Sterling Charbonneau. This is one of the guys I'm so excited for. He is a monster, and no one recruited him. He's the number 11 prospect, but he is disgusting. So expect Sterling Charbonneau to make multiple Team of the Years. He is electric. Super excited for Sterling. Dustin Dixon, one of the players he got in the portal. Glenn Childs, SFA player, up to a 78. Then a couple SFA players he got in the portal. Brandon Davis. All right, that's what Boise State is looking like. Boston College now. You've got Matthew Murray taking over, SFA player, and then they got another SFA player right behind him, Benjamin Cross, committing in the offseason. Kyrie Irving now, their sole starter back here. This is a ghost of their former selves. Maybe one more run in them. You got David Tyree still. Definitely the worst Boston College team we've seen in quite a while. Got one more year, Henry Davis and Lance Tomahawk. Takeo Spikes, SFA player. Bad corner class. Randy Orton, the punter. Hello, HPB. What's going on? Now we got Bowling Green. We're just trying to get through these rosters as quickly as possible while also still going through everything. There are no SFA players on Bowling Green. This is also a team no one ever really is wanting to be a user for. I think this would be a fun rebuild. This is not like the worst G5 team you could pick, so definitely some fun spots. We're slowly but surely making our way through. I'm going through all 126 teams here. Will be a VOD fully on YouTube with timestamps for you, so do not worry. This is always the biggest grind of the season for me. It's about 3 hours of me just clicking away. California now, they made the playoff last year. Can they somehow do it again? Led by the man, the myth, the legend, Chad Blunt. Love to see him back. Team definitely has gone down a few notches this year, so maybe they're past their playoff prime. Retooling year, maybe. They do still have the offensive line, though. Remember, my predictions for the year should be coming out in the next few days. Historically, I'm 56% accurate on my picks for division winners, conference winners, and CFP participants. All right, Central Michigan is a new user. This is a team that was crazy last year. Then they had a QB injury that derailed the season, but now they got Gerald Spencer as your starter. So for you new users watching, I'm kind of going to quickly go through kind of the best way to bolster your team immediately. A lot of you guys aren't going to have the biggest budgets, and you're going to have pretty bad starting teams. So it's all about, the SFA is really all about recruiting wise. The game does your base class for you, and then your goal is to recruit the star players that are going to reshape your program. So you want to attack the positions that are the most important first. So on offense, it's going to be your quarterback and your running back. And then on defense, it's going to be corners, middle linebacker, or defensive line, the ability to rush or stop the run. Once you start getting those areas kind of strong, then your team typically starts to perform a lot better. And then your budget goes up, and then you just continue stacking on top of that. So it has been completely proven that it is possible to build these bad teams up to powerhouses. It just takes a bit of a grind. All right, now we got Charlotte here. Jonas Brown, oh, they are bad at quarterback this year, but Eddie Dove, the SFA player, is a senior now. Former Tennessee and Kansas player. And start flying through these, hopefully. Remember to DM me any changes for the season. For your new coaches, most likely you're not going to need to make any changes. All right, Cincinnati, how are they going to handle a new team without star Chad Barber? Who's the starter? It's going to be Nick Leonard. They still have Hudson James, SFA player here. Definitely a ghost of their former selves, so I would say Army is still a favorite over them for the division right now. They lost a lot of their SFA players. They do still have Andre Whitworth, though, a senior. And they lost the two best G5 pass rushers. So definitely going to be taking a step back here for them. Also not the best. This is after cut players. So this is your roster headed into the season. This is all of them. Yes, sir, Wind, we passed Wyoming. Thank you for renewing that subscription. As we enter the defending national champions, it's what the color scheme for the season's all about. If you win a natty, you get the cover athlete, and all of our signage and everything revolves around you, basically. So, Clemson, this is their second title. They now got Walter Hearn coming in. So, another 91 coming in strong. In the backfield, you got Brandon Charles. We saw him go off in the playoff. Wide receiver, Trent Freeman. We saw him go off. This was one of the in-game SFA players, Drew Stowey. This is what he's looking like. One of our top players. Damn, Wind, you played yourself. You're at the start, and you missed it. I even told you. Bilbo Berkman, SFA player here. Chris Presley almost got that cover athlete. I was very close to giving it to him. Rylan Magnuson, SFA player. He will play. But the man, the myth, the legend, and your cover athlete for this season, Martin Black. If you haven't seen the video on why, go watch the Ohio State Clemson highlights on the YouTube channel. It is worth the 5 minutes. It is one of the craziest games we've ever seen. But Martin Black, he is a redshirt senior and an HSFA player, the second one after Chad Barber. Expecting a monster year from him, hopefully. Robbie Wayne, he had a defensive touchdown as well. In the natty, actually. Recovered the fumble. They definitely have taken a slight step back, but this will be your preseason #1 team. So preseason ranking should be coming out soon. Yeah, he didn't get the kind of progression I was expecting, unfortunately. So so that's why I had this story where he was doing too many photo ops and not enough time in the gym. All right, but now we're on to Coastal Carolina, a team a lot of people despise, led by the Irons clan. CJ Irons, an 87 overall sophomore. And then he was able to keep AJ Samuel from transferring, redshirt freshman. He had to convince him. Wide receivers, not as good, but he did get Donovan Swanson, the top wide receiver in the portal, coming back. So watch out, Coastal could be really good this year. Not the best offensive line, but that's all right. Not a lot of inspiring stuff on the defense, but they got Quindarius Durr, SFA player, one of my favorite players from this previous class. Here's what he's looking like. Love Quindarius Durr. I thought about going all in for him, but I just couldn't. There's so many players, like, when I make them seasons in advance, I'm so hyped for. And I'm like, there's no way I'm not going to get them. I'm going to go all in, all in, all in. And then I get there, and I'm like, I can't do it. All right, Colorado, a team that have suffered some unfortunate news in the offseason with Cale McCarr declaring the star running back. And Logan Wright coming in, taking over for Drew Carter. So a new-look Colorado Buffalo team. Most likely they are not going to be as good as they have been here in the past. Yeah, that was rough there at the strong safety. Wide receiver, I mean, never mind. This team has gotten some really good progression, some great success over the last couple of years. Maybe they can do something here. But remember, they share a division with Iowa State, so who really knows? SFA player, Cade Condor. Pretty deep corner class here. All right. And now one of our new users, we got Colorado State. Rough roster to start. Oh, God. Senior redshirt, 69 overall. Nick Gross, this is this team. So maybe your number one need is quarterback. This team. Now, here's the good thing about starting out with a team this bad, is that you can shape it however you want. Any player you get from either the transfer portal or recruiting is going to be a star. So that's the fun part about building this team. The bad part is this team's not going to be very good for a while. Like, by the time your recruits are starting to finish up or become upperclassmen is when you'll start seeing bowl game improvement. Yeah, Rams are going to compete for that 0-12. They have a few pieces here or there, but they're all seniors, so it's like you can't build around them. So that is definitely a hard mode rebuild. As we go on to Duke, the best 1-11 team in SFA history from last year. Like 10 one-score games, it felt like, that they lost. Your quarterback is Clay Brown for another year. There is one SFA player on this team. Luigi Guido, the junior, who's an in-game recruit. And in-game recruits will be premiering this weekend. That's one of the only things left I need to do is I have them all selected, but I just need to actually create them all and put them into the class. All right, Eastern Michigan. Team started out 6-0 last year and then finished 6-6, I believe. This is another team that's just not very good. We're starting to make some good progress here, though. Member schedules will be released in their entirety tomorrow. If you want to see some sneak peek on some matches, check out the Sicko Sector or HRS Weekly. Always shout out to Rick for helping me with the schedules. And now we got FIU. So a lot of teams are actually playing FIU. Or I mean at least B-Dog. So they do not look as good as they have been. So quarterback, meh. Yeah, you got what you requested, Dogwater. I expect FIU not to repeat as winning this division. I just don't think that they can compete with Coastal or Georgia Southern right now. Florida. All right. Hold on, I gotta pop up. All right, Ben Reed, he was the backup last year. Now he is the sole quarterback. This is a team that could be competing for this division with Tennessee kind of looking lackluster this year. Elliott Lee, Brant Dawson, a lot of these same guys we've been seeing for years. Pretty good offensive line here. Florida State's coming up next, I believe. SFA player Streveler is the backup here. Corner's pretty deep. This is a pretty good team. Toto Sucky, the SFA in-game recruit. He is their kicker. Let's see what his stats are. So 86 power, a 78 accuracy, pretty good. No, I lied. All right, Florida Atlantic, if you're here. FAU, one of our new users. Let's see how the team looks. FAU is on the screen, my guy. As your... Hold up. Your quarterback is Paul Stallings, 72 overall. 81 accuracy, so not that terrible. Don't be scared by the overall. Better running back, McKinley Clayton. Remember, feel free to pause the video or go back slower. But we're just going to go through all of this quickly. Decent wide receiver class to start for where you're at. This offense is not too shabby. A little rough so far in the offensive line, but they are young. Yeah, very young offensive line. That's what you like to see. John Stewart. Remember, these right ends will also play at left end. Don't need to request them. Lots of D tackles. This is a very, very young team. I'm seeing freshmen all over. So, Florida Atlantic's kind of going crazy. Yeah, so many freshmen. Eddie Beard. Holy smokes, look at the freshmen. This is such a young team. Okay, so this actually could be a very good team to start with because super young, you're going to get tons of progression. And then any SFA players you end up getting down the line are going to be your stars around these guys. So that's actually a very fire start. All right, Florida State. Starting out, De'Erico Claxton, the freshman. Looking beastly here. Monra Leuha, SFA player. Terry Nichols, SFA player. Kind of has the ending of Llama's team and the beginning of his own. Florida State could be pretty good this year. We say that every year, honestly, but this year we could mean it. Drake Eklund, SFA player, coming in. Caleb Montana. Then at corner, you got Lashard Weeks in the slot. Ja'Cory Williams, SFA player, free safety. Hopefully he doesn't get injured this year. Cody Stallone as well as an SFA player. So lots of good players on this team. That's actually a very strong roster. I might have to note them down. Fresno State is another one. They had a fantastic quarterback last year. Now they have John Andrews. See if he can do something. Yeah. Pretty good receiver class for a G5. They won their conference last year. That's why they had such a big budget, and they won their bowl game. Yes. Fresno State is the real FSU. Come on, Dogwater. Alright, now we're on to Georgia, who is another high-powered team that could make some noise this year. I actually predicted them to win the national championship last year. Did not happen. Ryan McBrien is back. He is a 95 overall. You got Dick Weed as a true sophomore, SFA player as well. Patrick Ortiz. Lots of SFA players on this team. Kennard Shorts. And in just like real life, in game, this is SFA player tight end to U. Lorenzo Pines, SFA guy. Caleb Broussard, SFA guy. Kobe Beef is an SFA player. Jackson Wild's an SFA player. On the defensive end, they've got Jordan Whiting, who's an SFA player. Bert Osborne is an SFA player. And then a player I'm so excited to see how he plays, Keelan Carroll, a SFA player, freshman. Look at this beast of a man. So hyped for him. Victor Ware. Taylor Sockrider, the SFA player who screwed, and Jaboris Jackson as well. So we may see one of these guys hit the portal next season. That is definitely a good option. Now we got Georgia State. Is Bobert going to recruit anyone this year? Probably not. But this is his team anyways. I'm interested to see where they put that player. They had Horner, I believe, who was like a 5-star athlete recruit. So we'll see where they put him. Did we miss him? Oh, Horner. They put him at running back. Clint Horner. All right, so he is going to be a beast for them. All right, we got Hawaiian coach Woolley now. His second year as an SFA coach. See what he can do to improve them again. He did improve them last season. But he only added a tight end, so we'll see if that is enough. This is actually a pretty good roster for the Mountain West. But Axel Brooks, the SFA player, coming on in. Not the worst offensive line you see in the G5. You just need a few studs here. Could have been Yui's team if she stayed with it, but she decided to go to UCLA. All right, there is Hawai'i. All right, Houston. They can get promotion if they make the CFP this year. However, it's going to be hard. They don't have Maddox Kopp anymore. It's now Wade Contrail, an 81 overall. He's going to have to lead them to greatness, but they bring back Tony Ferguson. Wide receiver, they still have Adam Thomas. So this is definitely a team that could make a run in a certain situation. Welcome in, USC. We'll get to your roster soon. But, oh boy, this offensive line may not be making a run. Could be clamps for Houston's promotion chances. David Fatiti, SFA player. Yeah, soon, sometime in the next 2 hours. Roy Kent, SFA player. He's a junior. All right, this team does have the defense to do something. Cardinals will be soon. Tony Shaw is back. All right, there's Houston. Illinois now. All right, one of our, not one of our, the best user success in SFA history. I mentioned earlier, Coach Flame, he left Baylor to go to Illinois, and he won the Citrus Bowl in his first year, which is the most prestigious non-playoff bowl. So he got Tim Miles. He didn't recruit a quarterback. He trusted the process. Tim Miles coming through with some good progression, so we'll see him this year. And then he once again has a dynamic duo. Doug Chonkla leaves and Boogie Toes enters. Boogie Toes along with Mike Allstott should be unstoppable once again. Eddie Royal's now the top target along with Dennis Spencer and Davis Holman. Stephen McKenzie and Pee Wee Hop is back for his final year. At left tackle, the Team of the Year player Nigel Pancake is back. He's an 84. And the guy everybody has been waiting for, Muffy Breastfeeder. Here he is, 6'9", 380, locking down that right tackle with 50 speed and 99 strength. Look at this man, Muffy Breastfeeder. If you want to look at his ratings, this is what he is. 50 speed, 60 excel. He cannot move, but he can block. Super excited to see how he turns out. Xavier James, SFA player. Right end, this is another case where the right ends will move over to left ends and vice versa. Please don't ask me to move them all over. Vince Wilfork as well is coming back. We convinced him to stay for another year. Except this secondary did go down a little bit. They did lose Kyle Horry in the back. So we'll see where Flame takes his team. You got Guy Beard as well, SFA player. Up next is Indiana. Bad quarterback. This team's not going to be good in the Big Ten. If you really want a good challenge in the G5, this is a fun team to take over. They have had some historic success in the SFA, but they really would need a user to put them over the top to have a chance. It's just they're in one of the hardest divisions in the country, so this is a really tough one. But if I were to ever leave the ECU Pirates, this is a team I would consider taking over for the challenge. Being able to bring Indiana to the top of the Big Ten, it would be disgusting. Definitely a fun team for sure. Oops, I missed one. Gotta make sure I go through them all. Otherwise, somebody's gonna leave a comment. You missed Eric Rogers on Indiana. All right, Coach Jarkus, you are up next. My opinion, this is one of the most underrated users in the country. Why? Jason Richardson, not an SFA player, but he took over for Cody Green, who entered the transfer portal, went to ASU. We saw that earlier. He just makes plays on game day and Bear Cave. He is a great, great player. And what Jarkus is doing with this offense and this defense is insane. He has a 96 overall fullback. He has a deep offensive or wide receiver core. One of the best, though, offensive linemen in the country in terms of SFA players. You got Jason Foreman. He made Team of the Year. And then, but the defense, what he's doing with this defense is like IRL Iowa. It's insane. Johnny Booth coming back, SFA player. But it's really at the linebacker. He's becoming LBU here. He's got Cam Buffington, SFA player, coming back. Middle linebacker Tom Ankerman coming back. And then Sua Sailor, one of my favorite prospects again. From this class, 92 speed at right outside linebacker is going to be tough. This team has a chance to be great. I really hope. And then Eric Sweeney as well, starting on the back end. You want to know throwing stats for our boy Jason Richardson? Here you go. 84 awareness, 87 throw power, 82 accuracy. But it's his ability to speed, elusiveness, throw. He can do everything. All right, Kansas State is a new user as well. Or no, he's not a new user. He joined at the end of last year. Hoping he can stay active. I love Kansas State users. You get Joe Mitchell for a year. That's actually a W. And then you got SFA player Xavion Luvu in the slot. Rough team. This team did make the playoff a few years ago. They pushed Georgia to overtime. It's one of our highest viewed videos on our channel. I think it's the second highest viewed video. That game was crazy, and some of my commentary in that game was ridiculous. Down year at O-line? Interesting. All right, I'll look at that as we go through. We have a new Kent State coach. Welcome, welcome, Kent State. Here's your quarterback. Okay, this isn't bad. So you have a good quarterback for 2 years. That's actually pretty good to lean on. This team does not have any SFA players. This looks like a pretty old team, though. This team did make a bowl game last year, though, so you do have a high roster. Decent cornerback class, considering. You can work with this team. All right, Kent State's kind of starting out in a good spot. Now we got Kentucky. One of the only Power 5 teams open. Led up by... They do have an SFA player who you saw there, Hazelnut at fullback. He was out for the year last year, so he is back. Wide receiver. Definitely a good team, but the fact they're in the SEC is tough. Jermichael Killens, SFA player. Deshaun Candler, SFA player. 96 speed. Avery De La O, SFA player. And there's Kentucky. LSU. Skyflyer almost dug this team out of the dirt to the SEC Championship. Missed by just a hair. So let's see where he's at this year. Munoz coming back. He is a junior. 94 overall is beastly. William Keller. This team could be good now. Jeff Gold. Terrell Pryor is now in the slot. He was a quarterback at Penn State. Transferred and now is in the slot at wide receiver. Sorry about the cough. I had COVID like a month ago and I still have a stupid cough. Tavion Galloway, SFA player. I try to mute myself, but as the stream goes longer, my throat hurts more, right? So Nathaniel Bandit, SFA player, 86 overall. Corner, really good corner. And then Mumu Bin Laden is the starter now after Bones Highland declared. Then Cassius Dreyer, another SFA freshman here. So that is a pretty good team, but historically LSU's pretty bad. All right, Louisiana Lafayette. This is the team that Dirty was ditching. A really good team. You got Nider Finley, SFA player, senior, 95 overall. You also got Shane Acho, SFA player as well. This is a lot better team. Than App State. So I still don't understand Dirty's decision to leave, especially with the talent he had. But you've got Ndamukong Suh in the middle. He's kind of been a bust, unfortunately. And then at corner, Bobby Chalk, SFA player, came over from Ole Miss in the Tamper. All right, and there it is. Louisiana Tech now, so another new user here. Finally getting some of you guys set up. Young Sung Bong, SFA player, one of my favorite players. 92 speed. He is your starter for another 2 years. Bobby Cobb, that's a fun name. No more Zach Hayward, so new wide receiver core. Could Young Sung Bong turn into anything here? You should have recruited Young Sung Bong. Blaine Kinley, SFA player, 82 overall. No more James Kiffin on this team, the best corner we've perhaps ever seen come through the SFA. They do have Isaiah Howell, SFA kicker. Got 134. Here is Louisville. So Nathan Cardinals, you are up. And your quarterback now is Curtis Good, but he is a sophomore, so that's actually not that bad. You also got Lucas Weber, so a lot of young quarterbacks. So if you want to take the route of not recruiting quarterback first, that could be an option, as you could grow some of those young guys. Some decent wide receivers here, pretty deep. No studs, though. Some freshmen there, and then let's see how the offensive line is. Okay, you got some decent interior corner, or yeah, Dogwater. It looks like if you have mid 70s, low 80s, then you're at the upper end. All right, this Louisville team could actually be not terrible this year. Have some fun pieces to build around for sure. capable corners. Ooh, all right. You got some studs here on the back end. And then Vivian Alexander, SFA kicker, is a junior. All right, now we're on to Marshall, who is another new user. This is actually going to be probably one of the worst teams we see today. Will Carpenter, your senior, at 75. That's not that bad. Actually, I lied. This team isn't that bad. At least to start. Could get worse as we head down the line. If you have any questions about the SFA, now's the time to put them in chat. We have a lot of teams to still go through. A little bit of time. I've gone through all the disclaimers and everything, so if you have a question in general, I'll make sure Maryland, we wait for Maryland if it comes up. But if you have a question about the SFA, how it works or anything, let me know. This is basically 3 hours of me being able to help you guys out. Alright, I'm going to wait a second for Maryland to get unadded. Yeah, you can definitely use your Prime sub. Any revenue made from this channel goes to funding a national championship trophy. And some swag being sent your way if you end up winning it all. Gary Mackey coming back for his senior year. But it is time to replace him, and I don't think you have a good replacement on the roster currently. Definitely an older roster here at Maryland, so definitely going to need a big recruiting year. Jay Swoozy is an SFA player for you, tight end. And then Tank Brinks, top 5 player. He's going to be a monster. If you look here at these ratings, boom. Great pass blocker. A little sus in the run blocking, but he does have great strength and some good acceleration, so he can really play wherever. Let's keep it going. It's just the only problem is, like, this is a good team, but are they good in that division? The hardest division in the country. Ohio State, Michigan State, right? So we shall see. Kicker and punter. There you go. All right, now we're on to Memphis. All right, Memphis has completely fallen off since Dogwater took over there. That's all right. I thought he might end up going back. It's actually a pretty good offensive line, though, down here at Memphis, so they could be pretty good. Welcome in, Mears. Texas State, we have not done yet. They should be coming down the pipe here in a little bit. This is always the longest stream of the season. Kind of the most grindy because I have to go through every single player of every single team in case we have new users join throughout the season. But it is always fun to kind of see what teams are looking to be good. I always do my own predictions after the season. As speaking of predictions, we have a team that I just love to pick every year, the Miami Hurricanes, where Latina Juice started with, and one of our only 99 overalls in the country, Mark Liu, coming back. They had a very, very down year last year, so we got to see if they can somehow pick it up this year. I'm hopeful. Joe Shaw, that connection might be good. I'm probably still going to pick them to win the division. I wouldn't say they shit the bed every year. They had like a 3-year stretch where they made the ACC championship every year. This is an SFA player. But it just haven't been able to put it together. They got Kyler Stone here, though. Perry Crenshaw. I'm hopeful this is another good year for the Hurricane, but may not be. They have some really tough division rivals, like you have Florida State now, you have Mike, North Carolina, so definitely some tough boys to face year in and year out. And, ooh, oh, their safeties are so bad. Look at this. Oh, no. Okay, I don't think I can pick Miami this year. That is disgusting. That is rough. All right, Coach Rev, if you are here, welcome in. Perhaps the coach with the best offseason in the country, dare I say it. Coach Rev coming in with a tiny budget and dominating the transfer portal. Michael Clark is your starting quarterback, 74 overall. These are pretty young quarterbacks, but Mike Walden is a beast. You can probably lean on him heavily in the next couple of years. Let's see where these players are. Michael Bryant, the best transfer pickup. He went +9 in progression. He's now your #1 target with 94 speed. He should be exciting. That is a massive W for Miami, Ohio, who for years has been the only real competition for Buffalo in the division. So we'll see if they can get back there. Yeah, D-Sleep might have had a good one. But, okay, look at this offensive line. Miami, Ohio might have a good year. Otto Tidwell, he stole him from Dogwater. He's up to a 73. He went +3. He will start. I'm loving this Miami, Ohio team, dude. I cannot wait to watch him on stream. This is going to be fun. Justin Hill, you have a stud linebacker here. Morrow, you got in the transfer portal to develop. Ramsauer is your #2 corner. You got him in the portal as well. Loving this team, loving this team, loving this team. Man, this team could upset Buffalo. All right, now we go to one of the gross underperformers of the modern era. Michigan, they always are stacked and they're never good. But they have a new quarterback now, Justin Vinson. See if he can do anything. SFA player James Draws is now the starter here. Once again, an insane wide receiver class. Brian Cross, one of the best tight ends in the country. 2 of them. Crazy good offensive line. There's a reason this team is not allowed. Yeah. So that was one, like, when we did the suggestions or whatever, someone snuck that one in there before I knew who he was. So he unfortunately somehow got through. Now I search every entry on the internet to make sure. But Calcium Loudermilk, he is back. He is a beast at the defensive tackle spot. And then the world premiere of Cheeto. Yes, sir. He was an in-game recruit here. Let's see what he looks like. Oh, my, Cheeto. Daddy Cheeto right there. I love him. Can't wait to see his career unfold. And then you also have SFA player Brody Byron. He's the starter as well. This is a really good team. Can't wait to see what they do. Yeah, Calcium Loudermilk. And now here is Mrs. Dogwater. Chelsea, your team is up. Are you going to be able to beat Dogwater? This is a team that was just outside the playoff conversation a year ago. Led by Flipper Masters. He gave me headaches. He is a really good quarterback. He has 85 speed. You have not great throw power, but insanely good accuracy. Your other quarterbacks, Joey Garcia. And then running back, not so good. So this is might where you want to start recruiting first. If you want to get a stud running back over here. At wide receiver, Jason Gaither doesn't look too great here, but these are a bunch of young guys who should progress throughout their careers pretty well. Some decent tight ends here. Offensive line looking a little thin, but they aren't too bad. The right guards are pretty bad. All right, defensively, how is this team going to shake out? Okay, a good D tackle there. That's good. All right, good linebackers. All right, so a 3-4 might be appropriate for this team. Corner, not exactly the strongest I've seen, but not terrible. All right, so I'm liking the defense as well. Defense is not that bad. All right, there's Chelsea's team. Minnesota. One of the only downsides from me scheduling, I was unable to find a way to get Minnesota to play Oklahoma, but Slade Roden, he is a senior, or a 90, sorry, he's a sophomore. Sean Bailey still going crazy. This team did lose a lot of talent through the transfer portal, but they still have Jude Abraham. They also have Devin Hester. So many SFA players on this team. Brent Kinnery. And then Marvin Irvey, SFA player. Also Brian Arakbo. Iceberg Cave. And Delvin Blizzard, a in-game recruit. The freshman. One of the best linebacker cores in the country. Neither decided to enter the transfer portal. Shaquan Bowser, Team of the Year guy. As well as A.J. Klein. Freddie Funyuns shockingly chose Minnesota. He had Oregon, USC, and Nebraska as his top 3 all year, and then committed, whatever reason, to this team. Freddie Funyuns, what a crazy dude. He's their number 1 guy now. He saw that Tyrell Keys left, so he saw opening spot, and they came knocking. Leroy Jenkins, SFA player, will start. Minnesota could still win this division. So that was Minnesota. Now we're at 147. Now here is a team I'm so excited for one main reason. You got Cole Baker, sure, but look at this man. Brock Thunderbird will start for them. He can also play middle linebacker. He will start at middle linebacker for them as well. So excited to see what he can do. Kind of like a poor man's McBurn finger. Coach Sebi, hopefully he gets a little bit more active now that his team may not be so terrible. He just needs to recruit a little bit more. He was the coach that left the most meat on the bone of the season 11 recruiting budget. Good corner there. Now we go on to Missouri. And Coach Grady, who had to take a punishment this year. And then he kind of choked away Bear Cave. So, kind of a tough spot for him. Hello? Oh, can't wait to get to the Bobcats. I thought you said something about my mic. But he now has Jamar Siggins, the SFA quarterback, leading the pack now. Hopefully he improves them. He got Jamar Cronin in the transfer portal to help out this backfield, as well as Julius Dickens, SFA player. Super excited for this offense. I'm really hoping Missouri, they are in a very tough division, but I hope that they find a way to make a bowl game this year. Angus Falk is an SFA player. He also got Eric Branch in the transfer portal. Same thing with Tyler McGee. So he really went heavy on pass rusher here in the offseason. All freshmen. He also has Harrison Hood here. Decent middle linebacker. So this team is on the up and up. Might need to recruit some cornerback this year. But I'm really excited to see what Missouri can do this year. All right, NC State. This is one of those teams where I'm not sure why, but no one likes to take them. We've almost never had a user at NC State. They're one of the only remaining P5 jobs open. Don't know why. I mean, I don't have any attachment to them, but I've always thought their Wolfpack logo is pretty stylish, all things considered. They did make the playoff 2 years ago as an 8 seed. They got steamrolled by Ohio State, but they still made it. Ooh, Skook. That's a nice shout. You do have Colby Cobble, SFA player here. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, ideally a rebuild, but there are a lot of people that just come in and take, you know, P5 team that they think is good. I guess this is a team that you would just assume is kind of middle of the pack. Yeah, of course, it's always about if you get offered. All right, now we got Navy. Navy has Robbie Jones. This is a team that could be good with some direction. They have some good SFA players, and they just got Bernice Cesaro, the man from Canada. Unfortunately, their coach just bailed. I'm not sure where he went. I think he moved to Australia or something. But Chris Cooley as well, his senior year. With some love, Navy could be really good. Honestly, any of the military academies, if you are decent in recruiting, Ty Terry, SFA player, you can turn these guys easily into a powerhouse. There's a reason the CPU always makes these guys so good over time. I think Army's going to be the first one to do it too this year, probably. All right, but there is Navy. All right, now we got Nebraska. This is a team that might be on the come up. Probably a team that had the best offseason out of any users. One of them. Because Coach Chewy goes from Northern Illinois, takes Nebraska as a shock, and Paul Sanford, SFA quarterback, coming back for a year. And then he gets a 85 or an 80 overall scrambler to recruit to commit, Julius Swain. So he's set for life here at quarterback. He has Joel McKinley, the transfer from Alabama, taking over as the starter. And it doesn't end here. I mean, wide receiver might be their weakest spot. And it's still pretty good. You got good tight end. Offensive line's pretty solid. Like, this team could give a run to Iowa State in the division. And then on the other side here, wait till we see the Carnage Dictator. This is where he went. He left Georgia Tech, went to Nebraska. And then look at this crazy team. Here is a 5-star freshman, Jerome Everclear, the 4th linebacker on the roster. He may enter the transfer portal. I don't know. We'll see. But then over here in the middle, you got Michael Richardson. Robbie Carmichael is an SFA player as well. And then you got Ricardo Henderson. He transferred from Colorado State. He was our golden ticket group of 5 player. And look at him in his new threads. He's not an SFA player, but he is going to be a guy to watch out for. Cornerback. Yeah, exactly, Skook. And then Xavier Townsend's an SFA player. But then you also now have Coolio, who's an active user, who's actually, like, he kind of screwed up the transfer portal, not going to lie, but he still is doing great work, and I just completely left. That was such an L. So now I got to go find Nebraska again. All right. Wait a second. I got to finish Nebraska. Sorry, I didn't do your specialists. You got Alford and Chavez. There you go. All right, Nevada. We're at the part of the stream where I'm, like, starting to lose my brain cells. All right, Nevada. I don't think we have a Nevada user. They do have a few SFA players, though. But I'm super high on Nebraska this year. So, Coach Chewy, if you're watching. both of them are up top here. Let's go, let's go, let's go. You got Corey Johnson. And then strong safety, you got Rico Valdez, SFA player. All right, there is Nevada. New Mexico, no more Ryan Leaf. They've got Kyle Miller as quarterback. Vincent Bell. This team has won the division 3 straight years and been blown out in the conference championship 3 straight years. So they can't get over that hump quite yet, and this might be the end of their run. I could see another team, maybe a Wyoming, taking over. But SFA player-wise, you got Ephesians Prysock, the senior. Pennington. So, really good secondary for this team. Yeah, bad New Mexico team now. North Carolina, and here is where he won the Sun Belt. He took that W and went to his dream job, he said, UNC, and he did some work in the portal. I mean, look at this, man. Josh Harris is a junior. You got Hank Green, a senior, and Jason Garza he just took from Buffalo, who's going to ride the bench all year. Like, what is this? Poor Garza, man. He goes from backing up Arch Manning for 3 years to backing up 2 other guys. And then over here, you've got Brian Wilson, and you got Stanky Leg, who is going to play this year. He's just not the #1 man. But he is going to be the guy next year, so that's what I'm hoping for. But Stanky Leg is going to face his old team. He has 2 rings with Clemson. But UNC could be a sleeping giant. This is a good team. Yep. Preston Thame, though, will start at right tackle. That's great to see for Buffalo. Just domination in the portal from North Carolina and Nebraska, really. They were able to get anyone they wanted. Yeah, he hit on all the wrong positions. But to be fair, he just took him over in the offseason, and then he wasn't able to see the roster. So, kind of tough to... That's one of the hard things of... Like, he got Chandler Johnson here as well, so... It's one of the hard things when you're going to a new team because you really can't see the roster. All right, D-Sleep, you are up, and you got a transfer quarterback for 1 year from Wisconsin. We'll see what Kevin Utley can do for him this year. What is a little bit worrisome, though, is that throw power or that accurate or the awareness. God. And then Tyquan Twiggs, SFA player, 6'1", running back. Shannon American, the transfer portal steal. Likely the #1 target. And then on defense here, you got Jeffrey O'Neal, Blake Bobo. And then Shea Dickerson, SFA player, will start. Yeah, no, you were up at the users, Zach, but I had to move you in the offseason because I had to try to keep players from other teams, right? All right, there's North Texas. All right, so this is the team that was abandoned, and rightfully so. I mean, Chewy would have been in the shitter here if he stayed at this team. Correct, I have not done Oklahoma. Oklahoma will be coming soon. So it's actually really good. He had an okay year, Chewy, and that's kind of like the meta coming in. You go to a bad team, you do well for a year, and then you go to the team you want. It seems to be the W move. This is a decent defense, though. Yeah, definitely a team that it was the good idea to get away from, for sure. All right, now we got Northwestern, who is a new user, taking over the team for Jackie Moon. You got Ricky Foster, an 85 overall quarterback, starting now. Andy Brown. This is going to be still a pretty good team. Probably will start in the top 25, if I had to guess. Remember, preseason top 25 will be coming out at some point this week. Or in the next few days. Schedule will be tomorrow. Ooh, forgot one there. Anthony Cobb. No SFA players on this team still. They all followed to Florida State. So we're going to see if this new coach can finally get them some SFA players. See if they could actually compete for the Big Ten. Pretty good corners here. I expect Northwestern to be all right again this year. I don't expect them to... I'd probably keep Minnesota as the favorite. Or it'd probably Illinois is the favorite, then Minnesota, and then this team. All right, Notre Dame here is a fantastic team that nobody gets to use right now, at least. Bart Rogers, SFA player. He is the senior. Bobby Hall at running back. William Dozier, SFA player. Let's take a look. The Bulldozer. Peter Woods. Oh, man. Okay. So I'm just going to announce it real quick. I'm guaranteeing pretty much that Thad Mooney is going to enter the portal. He was an 85 overall number 2 recruit. Nobody recruited him. He goes to Notre Dame. He starts, and now he's buried because he went -5. He's going to enter the portal for sure. So if you want Thad Mooney, watch out for that. Remember, if you watch the roster stream or you watch Donnie Donowitz, SFA player, I always throw in some little hints on who's entering transfer portals, who isn't, right? So it does pay to watch these. Skip to Vandy's. No one cares about these dogwater ass teams. We'll get there eventually, Emmett. That was Thad Mooney. Yes, Thad Mooney was a number 2 recruit from a few years ago. He went -5 in the transfer portal. Taco Hallahan, SFA player right there. John Smith is also an SFA player. All right, Coach Black, another man who may have had a monster portal. Hopefully he actually improves this year. But led by Chad Hunter. Sure, he's a redshirt freshman from Ohio State, though. So we're hoping that he is the savior of this team. Running back, Claude Roden, the senior redshirt, and Carlton Wheeler, the transfer, leading the backfield. And then Beverly is going to be the number 2 target, another transfer portal get for him. So really bolstering the offense here this season. Mark Ray, a nice one of the higher overall players on this team. And then how did he do? Dustin Green looks pretty good. Claude Powell. This team looks pretty good. I don't think that they're going to compete for a division anytime soon, but I think that they could go for a bowl game this year, potentially. Yeah, I like that he stayed in state as well. Could use some help at the linebacker for sure. Corner, Mike Bryant, transfer from Alabama, is the number 1 guy here. He's hopefully going to be able to shut down that Buffalo team. We'll see, but that is a big transfer portal get for sure. Really, really improved his team, and that is the kind of thing you join in. You have a really bad budget, and to be able to in the portal get like 5 starters to help you out for a year at least is actually super, super hype. All right, Ohio State, you choked in the Rose Bowl. Are you going to be able to make it back, though, this year? Lee Sanders now, so no more just 99s everywhere for this team. Malik Nicholson, he did miss the entire playoff, though, so we'll see if he can help them out. Wide receiver, it is finally a full new group for them. No more Peter Parrish, no more Tyron Jefferson, and Mecca Buga, they're all gone. So a new era here for Ohio State. So we got to see if they can come back and continue to be insane. Good offensive line. I'm sure this team is still going to be insane. I mean, they have an insane offensive line, but they're slowly but surely falling in the ranks. Justin Mason's back. Vegas Mercury SFA player. Randall Baker in now, a true freshman starting at middle linebacker. Adam Richard is back. And then the 3 SFA cornerbacks, Derwin Rainey, RJ Ware, a Sean Storm. That is disgusting. This cornerback class is insane. And then you got all of these guys here. I expect another Ohio State run. But they are slowly but surely losing pace. And now we got Oklahoma. Coach Jay Jetta is going back to the team he was Mickey Mouse with. Terrell Remmers, the SFA player, coming back. You got Jerome Jones, Greg Johnson, Gilliam, and then the freshman Gus McFeeters is what he's looking like. And then I'll flash his stats for you. Wide receivers, Matt White. You got Casey Robinson, Lawrence Harris. Pretty good receivers. Like, this is another great team. It's just, can they actually sim well? And then a massive W here at right outside linebacker. He did get JoJo Gates in the portal, 87 overall. Tyrell Keys is in the slot here. He followed his coach. Same thing with Gibson. He will start. And then Jay Phoenix, 4-star SFA player. Here's what he looks like. He'll start next year. Oh, when I see him, I'll say him. Andrew Sendejo as well. So Jay Jetta's bringing in year 1 a basically 3 out of 5 starters for his secondary. That's actually super hype. He got Sendejo from Miami, so that's actually super good. So Oklahoma could be good this year. All right, now we got Coach Fed, one of our Patreon members. Shout out to him. Members Fed, when you're looking through, you can make any appearance changes you want. You can change numbers, all that good stuff, including the regular stuff. All right. Nick Massey is your quarterback. Michael Simpson. Nick Johnson. Alex Johnson here. Tyreek Asher will start out in the slot. Here is his ratings to start. He is a red zone threat, so insane spectacular catch, insane jumping, great release. Only issue is, kind of slow, but he is a red zone monster. Offensive line, you could probably use some depth here for sure. SFA player Deuce Withers coming in. This is what he's going to look like. the 4-star. Starting. It's always hype when your SFA players are starting, including Leonard Akana. Take a look at him. He will be starting as well. He has good speed for a linebacker. Patrick Cobbs could definitely use some help here at corner. And there is Oklahoma State. Moving on to Old Dominion. This team has kind of fallen off from the days of having some guy in our Hall of Fame by the name of Marcus Mariota. Yep, you're allowed to change equipment, numbers, red shirt, change positions, but it will affect their overall. The only thing I don't allow is anything that could give you a advantage. So obviously ratings are out of the question. Same thing, I'm not changing height, weights, or player model. So like if you don't want the guy to have a big belly, sorry, he has to have the big belly because it could affect the in-game stuff. Hey, we got a prime from Naptown MVP. Hype, hype, hype. Thank you so much. And let me know which team you are again, Napetown. I always want to learn your guys's which team you are so I know who I'm talking to. Alright, here is ODU. Now, Ole Miss, a former user team. This team is stacked. Last year they had a bad year. They are led by Matt Ryan, Black Matt Ryan. Nate Robinson as well, SFA player. Tons of SFA players here. Wide receiver, Brent Boozler, Ronald Acuna. Both SFA players. There's a reason a lot of these teams are blocked off for new users, obviously. Don't want to make you be labeled as a Mickey Mouse. Kermit Scroat, 85 overall now. He is the lead man in the middle. One of my favorite guys. Troy Oxford as well, still. He did not progress this year. Definitely a down year for this team. LaRod Hopgood, one of my favorite players, is now the #1 guy. Same with Terrell Devers, Miles Ricketts. So another full SFA cornerback room. UTSA, oh yes, Coach JT. All right, so we got a little bit of time. Beat, bitches, absolutely. Booker Atwood, another SFA player. Same thing with Eric Weddle. All right, there is Ole Miss for you. Now we got Oregon. Slowly but surely winning the race. We got Scott Smith. All right, so they have a good quarterback here. Could Oregon find a way to get back to their glory days? Does not necessarily look like it. Okay, but to be fair, Skook, is that Texas A&M had been terrible their entire existence in the SFA, regardless of overall when you took them over. On Oregon, though, I am excited to see what Christian Comet does as a senior. He's battled injuries his entire career, so hopefully he can put together a good year. Damn, they have a good corner class here. And that's really what I'm looking for in this stream, is because last year corners were so bad and passing was just so overpowered. So I'm hoping that that is kind of corrected this season. Oregon State, I believe we do have a new Oregon State user. Here is your starting team. You got Marvin Hill as a senior. Kind of a rough team to start, but ooh, Brent Perkins could be the man. He has okay speed, could be a developmental guy. Then you got Eric Nance, SFA player in his senior year. Hopefully he can do something. Remember, the tentative start to the season is going to be Tuesday for week 1. If you're on Patreon, the first watch party is probably Sunday morning. Those are tentative dates right now. Could change depending on how flooded I am with requests. But that would put us at exactly a 2-week off season, which is always the goal. And I'm actually shocked that I'm hitting the goal with adding in the transfer portal that basically makes me lose 2 days to just wait for the transfer portal. All right, Penn State. This is another new user. Taking over a team that was kind of just left in the dust by Coach Dave. He completely abandoned them. So we'll see if they can crawl out of the ashes from last year. They do have a good roster. They just need a few pieces, maybe some guidance from a good playbook, and they could be pretty good. They do have an SFA player on this team. A little later on, I believe. Dallas Dobbs, yeah, he did regress this year, though. Demarion Triplett as well as an SFA player. Tyreek Jones is an SFA guy, so 2 there. You can find a lot of hidden gems throughout the country. Pat McAfee. Nice. Costa Rica, that's going to be fun. Hopefully you can watch your game, though. All right, Pittsburgh, Coach Crew. Welcome, welcome. All right, so this is one of the first big issues for Coach Crew. He has Ricardo Joseph, but he also has Jaws Patterson, an SFA player, and honestly, I think he's one of the more dumb player models that we got generated. Is Jaws Patterson going to start? Is he not? Daniel Sisk, he got him in the transfer portal from Ohio State. That was massive for him to replace Ty Montgomery. So much production. He also lost Gene Dangus, so he has to somehow find a way to replace that production as well. Lacoby Dean, SFA player, monster 88 overall. Great progression for him. Rafi Spriggs, he got the offseason strategy development from Coach Crew, so he's up to an 81. Remember, if you have any questions about the new recruiting system as well, feel free to put them in chat. This stream is always a great way for me to answer a bunch of questions while we go through a bunch of these teams. Alright, I go through every team just in case we get new users in the middle of the season. That way that they have something to reference off. And I don't have to do the work in the middle of the season. Purdue's missing a running back. Tough. The spoiler makers, could they do something this year? Likely no. This team is pretty booty cheeks. We're in the P's right now. Still plenty of teams to go through. But I think I'm making pretty good time. Normally this stream is around 2.5 to 3 hours. Always a grind, but... Alright, we got a new Rice user. Here is that roster. So, they're led by Danny Sanders, Kyle McCoy. That's a pretty good running back room for the Conference USA. In this stream, we're going over 7,000 players, so... Not the best on the defensive line here. This is not a bad starting team, though. Rice was good a few years ago. They've fallen off a little bit, but they do still have some pretty good pieces in place for sure to start. Rutgers. So if Kenzie's still here, here is your team. Your old team, I guess. Matt Campbell returns. He had a great season last year. Rashard Mendenhall, SFA player. Vinny Queen is an SFA player. He's up to a 90 overall center. Probably the best center in the country, I would imagine, or top 5. KJ King, one of the stud freshmen coming in, and one of the cooler freshmen coming in. Look at that. Super excited to see what he does in his career. Just hopefully he doesn't do it against ECU. All right, there is Rutgers. SMU did win the Conference USA last year. Kind of a shocker, but they have Patterson coming back, one of the top quarterbacks in the country. They have Nick McCollum back as well, so this team could do something again. Pretty good wide receiver class. Oh boy, we got Mears booing in the comments. This is probably your toughest comp in among the conference, one of the leaders for sure. Won last year, so no SFA players on this team. Go State, yes sir. Interested to see what Texas State can do. There is SMU. Alright, now we got San Diego State, a former powerhouse in the G5. Fortunately lost a few users and just could not sustain that success. But they're led by Nick Reed now, who's a sophomore. SFA player Vic Wally is stuck behind this guy. Could be a transfer portal prospect. Oscar Freyer, SFA player. RIP. He is GCU alum. On the defensive end here, you've got Kimo Kikoa, SFA player, recruited by McNasty. Ken Bryant. Richard Fuller, SFA player. SFA player who, former ECU Pirate, got screwed over in the transfer port, or in Tamper, took Junior Jabby from me. And then you got Derwin Fields Crook, who could find his way to the transfer portal. Or even Junior Jabby could in his senior year. We'll have to wait and see. San Jose State. Yes, this is one of our SFA kickers. These nuts. They got Doug Barclay. Yeah, there's some guys who didn't make the cut. Yeah, remember, from last season, the recruiting classes were not guaranteed to make your rosters. Sometimes they're cut, sometimes I import over them for your players, and sometimes the game just, you know, whatever. It's all part of the lore. These Nuts, 81 overall senior. South Alabama, and boom, last year's #1 prospect from the season 9 class. He had a really good freshman season, but he's on this team, so very under the radar. But D.D. Holmes is their best player. Markeith, Henry Brown. But D.D. Holmes wanted playing time, so he doesn't care about not getting any sort of recognition. We do not have a user on this team, so we're just going to blast past. D.D. Holmes, 90 overall. Could South Alabama push for a division this year? Unlikely. Yeah, trying to get through these teams. South Carolina, Scar, Coach Zach. Just writing down timestamps. QB controversy incoming. Ryan Leaf, Chris Jacobs. Who is it going to be? So they did not put your athlete at quarterback, so that's something that you'd have to do manually. See, where did they end up putting them? Raymond Thomas is your starter. Matt West, Bernard Schaefer. You can always change it if you would so desire. Terry Atkins, and remember you can edit looks or numbers of any of your players as well. This is a good team. Joe Hayden, here he is. Let's see what he looks like in his threads. Ooh, baby. Joe Hayden, finally a starter. So hyped for him. And then, oh boy, they put Richardson, Leon Richardson here. Let's look at his stats, though, just so you can see. I'm going to just go through his quarterback stats quick. That way I don't have to do it later because I know you're going to ask. 80 throw power. 84 accuracy. Okay. And then he has 89 speed and 51 awareness. So that's really the big oof with him. So he has decent stats, but that awareness could cuck you later on. That's something that you'd have to grow. Ricky Rogers here. Andrew Turner. And kicker, Youngwa Jungkook. This is what he's looking like. Remember, you can't change the player model or anything, but you can change number or whatever. And here is what an SFA kicker will do for you. An 85 kick power, 74 accuracy as a freshman. It's pretty much what it is always going to be. All right, Stanford. New user. New quarterback, too. New era, definitely, for this team. He still has a couple SFA players here. Kenny Clark. So Tyrese Hall is your SFA player for a year. Clyde Starr is a incoming in-game recruit freshman. Look how beastly Clyde Starr looks. I'm going to start hustling a little bit. I have other stuff I want to do tonight for the SFA, so. Kyle Powers is an SFA player. No more Fork, unfortunately, on this team. But we still get one more year. No, we don't. Never mind. All right, there is Stanford. Syracuse. Syracuse. They have a new quarterback now, Adam Rich. Will Moore. So completely new skill players. They have Charlie Heaton still, SFA player. But yeah, completely new offense. So the era never quite got off the ground. Still have Fergus Sinclair for a year though. This team is off limits for everyone though. Ronald Martin Jr. is a SFA player. Likely this team opens up next year, as they will now be bad again. Dewey Deeks is a junior. Oh boy, this is a team that was stacked at corner a few years ago. No more. Isaiah Towns and kicker Wayne Rooney. All right, now we have TCU and Coach Mango. Yeah, there are a lot of S schools. But Anthony Black, the senior, 95 speed. Anthony Black, he is a dark horse for the Heisman. If you haven't put in your odds yet, you should look at him. JT Redwine is an SFA player. He is a backup, so... you also got Joshua Hilton, SFA player as well. And then at wide receiver, Speedy Gonzalez, 98 speed, SFA player. This is a very, very fun offense. The real question, though, for TCU is, are they going to be able to do something on the defensive end? Sam Clemens. It's all in that category, the CC Sportsbook. So look in there. If there aren't any odds on Anthony Black, then that's tough. Nick runs that, the coach at Tennessee. Dalen Barnes, SFA player, 75 overall, freshman. Kane Chambers, the number 3 overall player in the country. He is a monster. I'm expecting Kane Chambers to have a massive, massive career here. 92 speed, massive hit power, massive zone. Big time ball hawk. Ted Bonowitz, our punter. This is what he's looking like. All right, Temple. No quarterback for them this year, so unlikely to be good again. They were good a few years ago. Get through Temple. I know we don't have a user. They're an open team, so if you're a new user coming in, taking over Temple, good luck. Not going to be an easy time. Remember, watch your video in half the speed. We'll help you out. Pause when you need to. Texas. All right, we're starting to get into a new batch of users here. Sal Easton, SFA player, is now the new starter. Number 8, the 8 ball. Todd Phillips got some crazy progression. Remember, this is another Patreon user, so you can edit numbers or appearance of your players. Just gotta let me know. Myron Gibbs, SFA player as a senior. Sonny Myers coming back, 85 overall sophomore. Big progression there. And then at corner, pretty deep here. And then your guy from the transfer portal, Darryl White. And then on the back end, Mustafa Farouk, monster now. Moved his speed up. He got up to a 94 with the developer. And there is Texas. All right, Skook, here we go. The Legend of Rex Beavers starts now. Rex Beavers. Beautiful man. 6'7", 234. Let's look at the stats. All the haters say he sucks. 78 speed, good awareness, okay throw power, okay accuracy. But this man is a beast carrying the ball. You do not want to go one-on-one in the hole. You also still have Tim Larson in case he gets hurt. Running back here. Yep, he put, and then Percy Knox in your slot here. 97 speed for him. He's an SFA player. Tight end, Matthew Brown, SFA player, got insane progression up to 96. You got a big-time tackle, a nice center. Your guards are probably your weak spot. Remember, offensive line automatically start the 5 highest pairings. You got Freddie Furman here, another freshman. AJ Hawk hasn't really progressed like you'd like to see. That's all right. And then another massive guy, Samuel Solomon Geraldo, SFA player. And then Ozzie Merkins, another beast. Can't wait to see Ozzie Merkins out there. Those are his stats. Rest of the team here. The off-brand Von Miller at free safety. So, yeah, there you go, Scoop. All right, now we got Texas State. So, Mears, this is a team that was really good last year because they had an SFA quarterback and then he left. So, you have a good budget this year compared to what your team looks like. So, quarterback is rough. The nice thing is you do have some good speed here in Charlie Mitchell, but your first step should be trying to figure out quarterback, especially because you have some really good running backs here. So, Texas State might be a good candidate for running the option. Oh, yeah, look at these wide receivers as well. I think we might want to see a Texas State option team. Who says no? That would be, or a very run-heavy offense is what you probably are looking for this year. You have the good running backs, you have the good quarterback, some really speedy receivers. I think you could have some success running the ball. Passing, most likely not. Nice defender there. You do have one SFA player on this team. And his name is Carson Casey. He is a senior, 73 or 77 overall. Definitely a lot of work to do here for you, Mears. Option run could be an option. Yeah, so Mears, you might want to DM Coach Mike, Georgia Tech coach. He is a master of playbooks, so could help him out there. And there's the team. All right, here is a team I'm so hyped for. He decided to take the punishment. He has the lowest budget in the country, but he has Tamir Lovelace, the Patrick Mahomes knockoff. He chose number 15, Coach Mark. I'm hoping Tamir Lovelace works out. Definitely better than any of your other players here. This team won the Season 4 National Championship, has done nothing since, but he has Kenny Garrison, SFA player, in the slot. We're really hoping for some good steps forward here for Texas Tech. He really wants to try to make this team work before he moves on somewhere else. Just not a lot of talent on this roster. Especially for a P5 team. Elliott is back. He was hurt all year last year. All right, there is Texas Tech. Now we're on to Toledo. Probably the only team that could really mess with Buffalo, but unfortunately quarterback looks bad. They do have Jack Snowball back for another year. He's an SFA player. Some good receivers, and then they also have Simikaze, SFA tight end. But they did lose all of their really good offensive linemen. Whitney Merciless is an SFA guy. And then on the other end, the freshman Liam Gagne from Canada. Spent his old budget, and then he left the server. Jarrell Rubino is a decent guy. Teddy Massey, good speed there. So almost all of the SFA players are off this team. So this division could be looking for someone to take over. Could it be Ohio? All right, Troy is up next. Troy here is their quarterback, and then the number 1 in-game recruit, Hephaestus Ames, SFA player. This is what he's looking like. So he went surprisingly to Troy, the number 1 recruit in the country. Love to see it, so we'll see what he does. Hopefully he has a great career down here. All right, there is Troy. Now we have Tulane. This team that Coco almost left for. All right, there's Tulane. Now we're on to Tulsa. All right. So they got Luke Burke. He is the transfer from Cal. He was the backup to Chad Blunt. He's coming in here for a 1-year run. Seeing if he can help this team out. Clint Coker is his number 1 target. They got him via a wheel spin, the only wheel spin of the transfer portal. So throughout the season, it did not happen last year, but if I put out a player card and I get no responses for him, then he goes to a CPU team. So we've had it in the past where guys go completely unrecruited. Now with so many people in the server, it's likely never to happen, but it does happen from time to time, and then I wheel spin to see where they go. Our last player to go somewhere by himself was Dad Mooney to Notre Dame. All right, UAB, they have a new starting quarterback. His name is Squinton Winston. This is what he looks like. Hopefully he gets the start this year over this Poe guy. I can feel the end coming. Famous Jameis. Shocker. There's a couple shockers out of the... I was really pleased with how the signing day went for the in-game recruits, Dogwater. There were some shockers from the season for sure, and this was one of them. UAB was like way back there the entire time. It was either Miami or Troy, and then he went to Bama. All right, UCF. All right, so this is Florida Man's new team. So let's see how he is starting out. Oh boy, so quarterback might be the first thing on your mind, Florida Man. Not much going on here. You do have an alright running back to start, though. Not too bad. Darrell Daly, #1 receiver. Okay, so really the quarterback is the rough part here. So every week I'm going to post 5 or 6 recruits, and then it will tell you in the top right their star level and what position rank they are. So like if it's an offensive lineman, are they the first offensive lineman in the class or the 7th offensive lineman? And then throughout the season, I'll slowly fill in the recruiting rankings as they're revealed. Remember, a 1-star in our recruiting system equates to a 4-star in game. So they are, any player you can snag in the server is worth going after, because they'll be huge bonuses for your teams, especially UTSA. Any and all player you could grab would be definitely worth it. Kevin Wagner, though, is pretty good here. Yes. So throughout the season, I will release the top classes and the bottom classes for in-game recruiting. And then we have coaches who put out their own media who do recruiting rankings throughout the year as well. All right, Coach Huey. Trace did not improve, but I think your team did. At least I'm hopeful. Tavarius Trace, the 5-star SFA players, the same rating as last year. AJ Sampson, though, he did go up a little bit. Blake Watts. Then these are the 2 guys. You got some depth for you. Decent offensive line, honestly. I really expect this team to take a step forward. You've gotten some good progression. Almost 80s everywhere. There's no way this team only wins 1 game again. Yeah, dude, this COVID, I just have this stupid cough, man. I have no symptoms or anything over a month ago. All right, but the team, or the best player that I think you got, Aaron Johnson. He looks like a stud. Obviously behind some guys now, but next year he will be the starter. Definitely a big pickup there. You got Weisbecker. I'm really hopeful for UCLA this year. All right, ULM. Sammy Baugh, the SFA player, is the starter. They got a 5-star freshman here, Mike Peterson. So, great tandem here. And my voice starting to give out after 3 hours. It's alright, we're almost done. We're almost there, boys. Yeah, I do need a lozenge. It's alright, I'll be ready to go by it's time to commentate next week. Take my SFA commentary very seriously. This is more of an informal stream, so I'm just kind of vibing. Alright, UNLV, we've got Coach Lama. Dyron Satterfield, some monster progression. He is the starting quarterback and a starting corner as well on this team. You got Darren Archer as well coming back. Hopefully he doesn't get injured this year. This is basically the biggest threat to Wyoming. Except, oh God, Jermaine Gresham is the third stringer, so it gets even worse. Llama chokes the transfer portal. He spends $300K on a tight end that isn't even top 3 or top 2. That is tough. Tough, tough, tough. Jermaine Gresham, what an L. All right, let's see the rest of it, though. Deltha O'Neal, and then remember, Tyron Satterfield will be starting out there as well. All right, UCL or USC, new user. I don't know if you're still here, but here is your team now finally. Terrence House is a starter. He's a redshirt freshman, so you're pretty much set up here at quarterback for the next 4 years. Oh boy, you're on the drop down. It's getting real. Got Garrett Smith, Dugnut, Bobson Dugnut, SFA player incoming, a short guy in the slot. Surprise recruit there. This is a good team. And for those of you guys who stuck with me, I'll give you a little shout here. USC is going to be taking on East Carolina this year in the non-conference. So I'm scared. So now you know 2 of my non-conferences. You know Texas A&M and USC. We are not taking it easy this year. I don't know about that. Yep. Like I said, on these type of streams, if you watch, I always leak at least a little bit of something. All right, USF is also another new user. Marcus Matthews. Ooh, got some nice receiver there. Compared to my non-conference last year, Dogwater, my schedule this year is ridiculous. Like, ridiculous. I have 3 very, very tough matchups. One that's a user game, but that isn't as tough for me. All will be revealed tomorrow. All right, UTEP now. Gonna fly through these teams. We are almost there. Not really. We still have a little bit of ways. Still got Pakirora. Yeah, I gotta go through the, gotta make sure you can at least see the up top, though, for everything. UTSA, we are finally here, the debut of your roster, and boy, is this going to be a tough rebuild for Coach JT. Tough. Your highest overall player is an 80 overall, but you have 1 year. Eric Gardner as a senior, 75 overall, and then it's not looking good. So quarterback might be your #1 priority. Cody Day, decent guy, but these are all seniors, so but you know, you may not want to try to get running back right away either. Oh boy, your top 3 wide receivers are leaving, so I think your first year wide receiver quarterback might be the move. Remember, on the VOD you can slow it down or whatnot, but this is what the team is looking like. Definitely going to be a tough rebuild for you. You have one good left outside linebacker right there. So a lot of decisions to make. Are you going to save your budget to go to the transfer portal and just farm a bunch of older guys, or, you know, what is the move down at UTSA? All right, on to Utah now. Coach Moon. Quarterback Brandon Mitchell Jr. And here he is, Tokomaha Pakirora. Here's what he's looking like to start. If you want to change numbers or anything, let me know. There he is, Tokomaha Pakirora. Behind him, BJ Ferguson. Wait. Hold up. I'll show you his stats as well because he is a reward player. Not the best speed. You know, he's a rugby guy, but 90 break tackle, 90 trucking. He is going to be running over people, giving out stiffies. He has 90 stiffy. Very, very good player. You got Ryan Alford, Matt Evans. Some really good receivers to start, at least. Nice left tackle. Decent at guard. Nice. All right. You know what? That's a usable starting line. You're good on the edges. Nice in the middle. Okay, Utah might be a complete team this year. There's Jeremy Bastian from the transfer portal. Remember, your top left shows you their number. And this is a guy I want to showcase. This is one of the most interesting players I made in the class because he is a physical master. 6'6", 260, 92 speed. His problem is he's dead as a doornail, a dud, stupid. Awareness at 65. His play rec is down there. He can't pursue. His coverage is rough, but he is a monster in the physical attributes. So he is a player I'm really interested to see how he progresses through his career. And then Fred Johnson, and then you have Nicholas Oakley, an SFA player here. He's a backup. And then you have Bruno Ferrari, SFA kicker. True, yeah. Wishbone clears. Oh boy, speaking of, here you go, Dogwater. The man that got away, Spencer Lanning, the team of the year punter. I bet you are sad right now. Alright, we're going to speed run. Spencer Lannon. All right, Vanderbilt, here you go. We are finally here at the 3-hour mark. Let's see what you're starting with. You got Kellen Motley, a senior. All right, so that's pretty good. First year, you get a senior QB. That'll help you with the budget. Junior Love is your top receiver. This team used to have SFA players. They are all gone now. Decent line, honestly, for a shitter like this. But remember, they are the SEC, so they're still going to probably get boat raced. So, God, especially with this defensive line. That might be where you want to start. Nice little guys out back there. There you go. There's Vanderbilt. Virginia. Dan Daly up to an 83. Jonathan Matthews did not progress. Actually, no, I think he went +2. Joshua, kind of all the same players. They just progress a little bit more, but I doubt that they have the same success they had last year. I think it would be very tough to duplicate. I think they were kind of like the dream team. Hold up, I forgot a guy. Seven Clouds still there, 79 overall. No, I'm used to it. Mike sends like 40 plus changes, so I'm kind of used to it. And then especially with Patreon, yeah, Patreon members, I don't mind. Do your worst, I guess. All right, VTech, almost done here. No user for this team. Roderick Rook Chugong, SFA player, multiple team of the years despite the lower overall. He just produces sacks on sacks on sacks. Bro, you gotta be capping. Third string right outside linebacker, block shedding. I'm sick. Ricardo Lorenzen, SFA kicker. Wake Forest. All right, here is Coach Sharp. Ross Stiegel is your quarterback. Nothing much doing. Okay, a decent running back, though. Freshman 78. Not too bad. Not too bad skill position. So if you can figure out the quarterback, then this team could be a little bit better. Yeah, Zach, it actually might be really good that you got Ryan Leaf, because that safety had really bad awareness. So he was a 4-star, but he might have been a bust if he was that low. All right, Washington is a new user as well. This team this is a shell of the team they used to be. That's why I unlocked them. Joe Davis, 82. Rough at wide receiver. No, I'm talking about Leon Richardson. Oh, you're ending up putting him. Oh, yeah, no, I'm not reading it at all. But yeah. And if I have time, I can do a practice stream as well. Yeah, I normally end up having a little bit of time for at least one or two of those. All right, Wazoo, best year of their career last year. Can they duplicate it? Does not look like it. Are we there yet? Only a couple left. Let's go. West Virginia, another new user. Brian Nobles is your quarterback. No speed, though. This could be a tough rebuild. Lots of older guys so far. Seeing a lot of upperclassmen starters here. Yeah. That's always how it is at this point. I'm like, struggling to the finish line. We're almost there. Because oddly enough, it's like my work in season is like 10 times less. And then that's when I like make classes and stuff, test things out. And then, but the off season, it's like straight fucking every waking moment for 2 weeks. I'm going crazy. All right, Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky, can they take out Skook again? I don't even know if they're on this schedule. I don't think so. Yeah, exactly. Definitely when I lose the most brain cells. But the really, really hard stuff is over. This stream itself is just more like a marathon. But we're vibing. We're vibing. We're almost there. The having more active users makes this a lot more bearable because there's a lot more impactful storylines. Whereas when we first started, we had like 10 users, and so it was going through like 120 teams that we had no clue about. But Western Michigan is another SFA user. Oh boy, no quarterback. This is what you get for not even using your budget, coach creator. Hopefully you can get back into it because your team is going to be terrible this year. This is not looking good at all. Oof. Looking at a wheel spinner over here. But they do have Mickey Switzer, a freshman All-American senior, and Team of the Year. And that's what happens when you aren't active, man. Your team goes terrible because you don't fill in the holes. And Wisconsin, our final team of the episode. We already saw Wyoming. So Wisconsin. Cedric Morris is the starter. They have Kim Stingley, SFA player, his final year. He is 98 speed. He is a toughie. This is a team that I've been wanting a good user at for a while now. Dan Katz, SFA player as well. Finally the starter up there. No, Utley wasn't going to start for them. It was Cedric Morris all the way. So that's why he entered the transfer portal. He's younger and better. But Utley almost passed him up with the progression, though. Last couple screens. Here we go. Oh, yes, boys. We are done. There it is. That is the roster stream. Thank you guys all for watching. This will be a VOD here probably in about an hour or two because, one, it has to render, and then, two, I have to type out all 126 of these timestamps. And then I'll be posting the preseason recruiting post later on tonight as well. Playbooks are now open. You can post your playbooks. Remember, you only get 4 changes after you initially submit, so be very wise. And then also submit via DM any of your changes. Please do it all in one message so that I can do it all one at a time. So I only have to make and edit your team once. 70 users. Remember, everything I do for you, I have to do for everybody else. So thank you guys for watching. A lot more coming. Schedules are tomorrow. Talk to you guys later. Peace.